Hi, this is so hilarious. It's a gardener's nightmare and also one of Poland's largest and most unusual insects. Some like it, others hate it, but I and some are fascinated by it. Meet the mole cricket. Dear viewers, a few days ago I discovered an interesting insect species. And right now it's in this container and it's the famous mole cricket. I already made a video about this insect once, which spread quite nicely and gained a lot of reach. However, I think it's worth reminding ourselves a bit about this amazing, peculiar, strange underground creature, which in English is called the mole cricket. And indeed, as you'll soon see, that name is actually quite justified. You may wonder where the bug is, as it should be nearby. He dug a whole network of tunnels here in every corner, and there are even more underneath. All right, let's dig him out. Where are you, Mishku? Did he run away? I don't think so. Hey there! Hey, seriously, he was just here a moment ago. Wait. All right, I found him after searching for a bit. Albu or not? Hey. Where are you going? Come here. Oh. I'll tell you, holding him in your arms is really tough because he tries to escape all the time. He's also super strong. All right. Oh, well, here we have a little kid. There you go. So since we managed to get him out of the depths of the underground, let's talk about this strange, fantastic alien. He actually makes hilarious sounds when he walks, you know? Come on. See that? It's hilarious. I really have to keep it under control here because this thing goes so fast that... All right. No, wow! But he's got a lot of strength in those paws. It's brutal. Come on. All right, listen, we can't record. I have to put him in some box. Otherwise, he'll keep wandering around here all the time. Ah! All right. Oh, it worked. There's a mole cricket. So maybe let's start with the basics. First of all, what exactly is a mole cricket? What relatives does it have and what is it similar to? And basically, a lot of people would say, I don't know, because the mole cricket is such a unique insect in Poland. It's less unique in the world because globally, the mole cricket family, yes, this insect has its own family. The mole cricket family includes about 100 species. In Europe, we have 14 species and in Poland, just one. Exactly, the mole cricket, which is Grillotalpa. It has this interesting scientific name, two identical words. The mole cricket is closely related to bush crickets and regular crickets. It belongs to the order Orthoptera, which includes all crickets, grasshoppers, bush crickets, and other jumping and flying insects. Oh, it's cleaning itself. That's cool. Wait. It's cleaning its antenna. I need to record this. All right, it's done cleaning itself. However, the fact is that the mole cricket doesn't have those specific jumping legs like grasshoppers or locusts do, but the second fact is that it doesn't really need them because of its lifestyle. Aside from lacking jumping legs, the mole cricket is still an insect with the usual features, a body divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. It has a pair of antennae and 3 pairs of quite characteristic legs, maybe not so much the second and third pairs. But the first pair, because the legs of the first pair are transformed into what I would call shovels. And here is a great reference to its English name, which is mole cricket, because its front legs strongly resemble the paws of moles, which also use their paws armed with large claws to dig through the soil. That's exactly what mole crickets do, since they spend most of their lives underground, digging through soil with their front legs. We also have compound eyes, which are common in orthopteran insects. And there's also that characteristic thick cylindrical armor that covers its thorax, or more precisely, the prothorax, which is the front part of the thorax. However, the mesothorax and metathorax are covered by the wings. Someone might ask why mole crickets have wings if they don't fly, but they actually do fly. Just like many of you are surprised that earwigs, those common pincher bugs, are capable of flight, mole crickets, especially the females, are also capable of flying. I've never seen a mole cricket fly in my life, and honestly, I rarely ever come across mole crickets, but it turns out that these wings aren't there for no reason. They are used not only for flying, but also in the case of males, for making sounds, which I'll talk about in a moment. But yes, mole crickets are capable of flying. It's true that their flight isn't particularly stable and usually only covers short distances, but the fact is that they are able to take off and fly. I also mentioned that the mole cricket is one of the largest in Poland, and that's a fact. Adult, well-developed individuals can reportedly reach up to 7 centimeters in body length. I'm not sure if we're counting the ovipositor tip and abdominal appendages at this individual's end, but 7 centimeters is still quite long. While a large Polish stag beetle is bigger, among non-beetle insects, it surpasses most native species. Mole crickets spend the vast majority of their lives, which can last several years, since they only reach sexual maturity, or adulthood as we understand it, after 2 years of life. Do you get that? This specimen is over 2 years old, which is unusually long for an insect like this. However, they have a certain trait that is also characteristic of earwigs. The female has a maternal instinct and takes care not only of the eggs, but also of the newly hatched tiny mole crickets. Since the mole cricket is an orthopteran insect, it undergoes what's called incomplete metamorphosis. That means a tiny mole cricket hatches from the egg, which is basically a copy of the adult, just smaller and without fully developed wings, because the wings develop as the individual grows. And after the female mates with the male, she looks for a suitable place to lay her eggs, digs a special incubation chamber, and apparently there are stories that she gnaws on nearby plants so that they wither, making room for sunlight to reach the area, which helps the eggs and later the young mole crickets develop. When the young mole crickets hatch, the mother takes care of them until they go through their first molt, and then they go off on their own, digging their own tunnels. Ah yes, tunnels. Mole crickets mostly stay underground, which is obvious and the main reason we dislike them, but I'll explain more soon. Hey, it did what I wanted to record. Listen, that's what I wanted to discuss. Mole crickets build tunnels that are roughly the size of their bodies. They have cylindrical bodies and legs adapted to move quickly in those tunnels. But those tunnels, since they're roughly the same size as their bodies, make it impossible for them to turn around inside. The tunnel network is dense, allowing them to move easily wherever they want. But if a tunnel collapses, can the mole cricket turn around? No, but it isn't stuck. Mole crickets are able to move quickly, both forward and backward. They can actually shift into reverse and back up. That's impressive for insects, and it just demonstrated that skill. They spend most of their lives there, only occasionally coming to the surface, especially females searching for males. That's when they also perform what's called mating flights. So the female is able to fly a certain distance in order to catch a male. And that's interesting because notice that here the males attract the females. It's the exact opposite of what happens with butterflies. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, probably not, but I'll show you that at the end of the video too. A male butterfly that recently hatched at my place is sitting there. With butterflies, females are fat and heavy, rarely fly, and use pheromones to attract males who come to them. For mole crickets, it's the male that attracts females, not with pheromones, but by singing. Just like the vast majority of orthopterans, mole crickets are capable of making sounds. Male mole crickets are able to produce sounds with a very distinctive tone, which you can hear now. This isn't the song of any bird or other animal. These are actually singing mole crickets. This is what's called the ability of stridulation, and the males do it by rubbing their first pair of wings together. Very similar to how, for example, crickets do it. And now, if I asked you whether grillotalpa is a pest or not, I suspect that the vast majority of you would answer that it is. After all, it can cause quite a bit of damage in gardening and orchards. It gnaws on tubers, roots, and potatoes. It can dig up carrots in foil tunnels, garden beds, or even greenhouses. And sure, I accept the argument that for many people watching this video, this inconspicuous, well, maybe not inconspicuous, I also wanted to say small, but it's a beast. This little bug really causes a lot of trouble every year. It's worth noting that grillotalpa's population was much larger in the past. Honestly, I have to admit that these days I hardly ever see it. Whether I'm in wet meadows, my family garden, the countryside, or anywhere else. I see the mole cricket very rarely. The population of this insect in Poland has significantly declined in recent years. At this point, it hasn't even been confirmed in all regions of Poland, including, among others, Stouter. Unless one of you is in Stouter and has seen the mole cricket there, let us know in the comments. Currently, I would say that the mole cricket is quite a rare insect on a national scale, even though I know that many of you will find it in large numbers in your gardens, where it actually causes damage. However, I believe that in nature, the mole cricket shouldn't be considered a pest or some kind of terrorist, because it also plays a very important regulatory role. Because it's omnivorous, it eats anything, not just plants. It can also feed on animal protein, eating snails, grubs, earthworms, and other crawling or walking underground creatures. So in many cases, it is very useful for us because it regulates the population of other creatures that sometimes also bother us. So sometimes it's worth looking at things more broadly and not considering it our enemy, but in some cases also our ally. Someone will now ask, okay, Wojtek, but I have many mole crickets. How do I get rid of them? The mole cricket population hasn't declined for no reason. There's soil chemicalization, there's draining of wetlands, and there's getting rid of green areas. And if it actually happens that you have a lot of mole crickets, I've heard there are a few cool methods. First of all, I think the healthiest method, the most effective mechanical method, is simply to dig up the soil and remove the mole crickets. I don't recommend methods like burying horse manure, for example, because we know that such methods were also used. And why did people do that? Because decomposing horse manure generates a lot of heat. And heat is what attracts mole crickets. And around such a pile of manure, you'll get a gathering of mole crickets. And then you can easily extract them. There were also suggestions to flood the tunnels with soapy water or bury cans or jars of beer. I don't think there's a completely effective method. If you know one, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'm not claiming to be an expert since I've never had issues with mole crickets. If you know any proven methods that don't harm the environment, let me know. I've also heard that, for example, planting marigolds or spreading black alder branches helps keep mole crickets away because they don't like their smell. Interesting fact. Now it's time to answer the last and probably the most desired question from you, which is, do mole crickets bite? Basically, the answer to this question is yes, and it should be yes, because mole crickets, like all orthopterans, are equipped with what's called a biting apparatus, meaning they have mandibles and can bite us. However, I've held this mole cricket several times. I tried to get it to bite me, but it won't. These mole crickets just refuse to bite. They always cover themselves with those little legs, spreading my fingers apart, and you just can't make this mole cricket bite you. If any of you have been bitten, let me know in the comments because I'm curious about that kind of thing. Some stories claim mole crickets can transmit diseases like tetanus. I haven't heard of any confirmed cases. I'd gladly read scientific papers on this. If true, that's a problem. However, I've never seen or heard any stories in my life about a mole cricket actually biting someone. Don't be ridiculous. See, I'm holding it, and it's just... Sunek. He's really spreading my fingers apart with those legs of his, but absolutely here... Hey! But absolutely here, he's not inclined to bite me in any way, right? Well... Hey. How the smart guy backed off, huh? Come on. It's really strong, you have to admit that. These are probably some of the strongest Polish insects. Listen, the strength of their little legs is amazing and they're literally spreading my fingers apart like crazy. Well, mole crickets always want to dig in, so it's obvious that they're going to look for a gap. If they find those gaps, they'll try to burrow in and... Alright, come on, and those little paws are exactly what they use to dig through the soil. Well, listen, it's like a cute little bear. Alright, come on. So should we be afraid of terkuts? In my opinion, no. Should we fight them? Well, if they're causing you such huge damage that you can't handle it and you can actually see the loosened soil, then sure you can get rid of them, right? But terkuts are also not protected in Poland. They are not under species protection, so in theory you can get rid of them. However, in my opinion, they are cute. I get that they can cause damage. If so, fine, that's an excuse to get rid of them. But besides that, I think it's such a peculiar, interesting and rare insect in the country that it's good to let it live because, of course, it also has the right to live. Fun fact, we're leaving the mole cricket here for now since I still need to record its macro shot. And the fun fact is that something is sitting here, and it's actually a butterfly. And it's not small at all. This is a live butterfly. It's not a fake or a plastic butterfly. This is a live butterfly from the species Argama mitrae. I hope to make a separate video for them. This butterfly just emerged from its cocoon, and as I said, it's a male. However, this specimen was unlucky, hatching just an hour after I got the package with the cocoons, and I didn't manage to hang them up, and this specimen fell off my table. It simply hatched on the table and fell off the table, while this cocoon should generally be hanging in this position. And it wasn't able to straighten out what's most characteristic for this species, which are those huge long tails. It's a shame, so for now he's just sitting with me instead of acting like these butterflies usually do. But if you remember the episode with that terrarium, the one that was broken and unfortunately is still broken because I haven't managed to fix it yet, something has appeared here, and actually they're moving. Listen, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hanging here. There are also 11, 12, and 13 over there. 13, and here's the 14th, but it's injured, so I'm not sure anything will come of it. We'll see. So for now, it's here separately. So I have 13 healthy cocoons of this Saturnia, and I'm waiting for them to hatch. These butterflies are amazing. It's my first time raising them, and I'm really excited. Look at how they move. See, I'm not moving the terrarium, it's the cocoons and the pupae inside that are moving. Really fascinating. As soon as more of them hatch, not just this one, we'll make a separate video about them. I hope you enjoyed the video about the mole cricket, and that this little one made you go, oh, just like it did for me. Honestly, I think it's cute and harmless.